Hey everyone, welcome back to Bonds with Bunt. Quick one this week because honestly, the market feels a little confused right now. You've got headlines pushing rates higher, but the data underneath is actually pointing the other direction. So let's break down what's real and what actually matters. Over the past week, most of the movement in rates have been driven by oil and headlines, not fundamentals. Oil spiked again, markets reacted, and rates moved higher. But here's the thing, we've seen this movie before. Short-term events push rates around, but they don't usually drive where rates go long-term. And that's where I think the market is getting a little off track right now. When you actually look at the data, it's not strong. ADP came in okay on the surface, but almost all of the job growth came from education and healthcare. Everything else, pretty flat. Retail sales look strong, but that's mostly people spending more money on gas and essentials, not a sign of a strong consumer. And jobless claims continue to show people staying unemployed for longer, not a lot of hiring happening, and momentum slowing. So while the headlines are mixed, the trend underneath is actually weaker. And that's the part that really matters. If the economy is slowing, that takes pressure off of inflation, and if inflation cools, that gives the Fed room to cut rates later this year. We're already hearing more Fed members shift that direction. So even though rates moved up a bit this week, the setup long term is still pointing towards improvement. Now here's what's interesting. Housing isn't really slowing down. Prices are still holding, inventory is still tight, and buyer demand hasn't disappeared. It's just reacting to rates. We've seen that. Rates dip, buyers come back, rates rise, they pause. That tells you demand is still there. So here's how I'd simplify this for buyers. The market doesn't want to wait for perfect. It moves when things start to improve, not when everything feels great. And right now, we're in one of those transition moments where things still feel a little uncertain, but the direction is starting to shift. And those are usually the windows where you get ahead of the crowd. So big picture this week, the headlines are loud, but the underlying trend is quieter and more important. The economy is slowing, rates may follow, and housing is just sitting there waiting for that shift. If you've got buyers trying to time everything perfectly, they might miss this opportunity. As always, if you want help talking through a scenario or strategy, just reach out. See you next week on Bonds with Bunt.